Picture a blackboard at midnight. On the left, a family of sine waves. On the right, a neat anatomical sketch. Clitoris, hood, bulbs, labia, pelvic floor. I stand between them and ask a simple, dangerous question. What if pleasure were a signal we could measure, decompose, and model like any other physical phenomenon? Start with the clitoris, the star of the show. Not just a tiny dot, but an internal network. Glands, shaft, cavernous bodies, bulbs, rich in nerves and blood vessels. Think of it as a distributed sensor array. Each receptor is a node in a network. Graph theory begins to hum. Degree, clustering, path length, where do signals convert? Where do they echo? That topology tells a story about sensitivity, referral patterns, and how touch in one place can light up response in another. Now bring in rhythm, masturbation. As a behavior we study, often shows pattern, bursts, steady pacing, pauses, accelerations, reportings from self-report or wearable sensors. Reduce these patterns to time series. Fourier transforms take the message signal and show us the dominant frequencies, peaks that recur across bodies and contexts. Some profiles look like a single clean tone. Others are a chord of harmonics. That harmonic structure is curiosity itself. Are certain neural circuits tuned to a particular frequency? Do pelvic floor muscles act as coupled oscillators that amplify or dampen the signal? Turn the physiology into equation. Blood flow into erectile tissue follows fluid dynamic rule. A differential equation can capture engorgement and decay. Inflow, outflow, vascular resistance. Add a nonlinear term for neurovascular coupling. Suddenly, you have a van der Pol type oscillator that can explain rhythmic, engorgement, and release. Control theory offers even more. Feedback loops, from spinal cord to brainstem to cortex, regulate intensity and type. Gain too high, and you hit runaway excitation. Gain too low, and the system never reaches its peak. Homeostasis is a constant negotiation. Geometry helps too. Folded tissues, labia and the nora with their complex surfaces, increase area, and change mechanical response. Fractal measures of those folds predict how deformation distributes pressure and stretch. Topological maps of nerve endings overlay those shapes. Ask a simple optimization question. Given a fixed number of sensory units, what surface shape maximizes information transfer under realistic mechanical constraints? The answer lives somewhere between calculus of variations and biological reality. Combine data with models, and something magical happens. Imagine anonymized time series from consenting participants who tracked self-stimulation sessions for research. Cluster analysis finds common motifs, rising ramps, stepwise, increases pulsatile bouts. When you align these motifs with physiological measures, heart rate, skin conductance, pelvic EMG, you can begin to infer causal change. Granger causality and transfer entropy help test which signals led and which fault. Suddenly, masturbation is not an indulgent secret, but a rich data set about human sensor-motor coordination, affective state, and peripheral physiology. This opens applied doors. Sex therapy could borrow system ID methods to personalize pacing for arousal. Device designers could use frequency response curves rather than at some minor guesswork to match mechanical output to typical mental tuning. Educators might teach a language of timing and feedback, how the body often prefers patterns with certain rise times and rest intervals without ever telling anyone how to test. Finally, the ethics. Study design must per consent. Anonymity and agency first. Models are tools, not prescriptions. Our aim is understanding, not exploitation. The math is seductive because it promises prediction that the human element resists reduction. Variance is not noise, it is the message. So keep an eye on that midnight blackboard. Let waves and anatomy talk. Try decomposing an anonymized arousal trace with a Fourier lens. Sketch the clitoral network as a graph and compute centrality. Simulate a coupled oscillator of clitoral tissue and pelvic floor and vary the gain. The problems are clean, the data are messy, and the answers will teach us about body, brains, and the beautiful complexity where biology meets mathematics.